Hey y'all. I, I'm like on another level of batshit nuts, apparently. Um, okay, so I this right here, what you're seeing, is what I've got so far. This is basically mocking everything up in PVC to see where all the piping's gonna go. Again, form follows function. I need to be able to move my arms a certain way, so this has to be designed a certain way, which allows my arms to move. But as you can see here, this is the car seat. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention in the other videos is that this is plastic, so I cut it to accommodate a body. Um, After this is done, what I'm going to do is take some fiberglass. I've got the polystyrene resin. I've got the fiberglass there. All I need to do is just cut it and just put it on there. And that will actually unify the whole seat as one piece. And I might keep the plastic as backing for the fiberglass, or I might just pop it off and just pop it in there. But anyways, as you guys can see, these are the leg joints, which are the steering column joints. These are the arm joints, which are the little U joints that I got from the socket sets. Caster. I'm not 100% sure that this is where the optimal position for this thing is, because the problem is the weight has to come down, and since it's at an angle, it's not really going to come down, because the idea would be when you lift one foot, the other, all this weight should stay on that one foot. And then you have an actuator that lifts this leg so it can move forward, and then the weight is put on that foot, and then you lift this leg. So it's got to be very balanced so that you walk around and all the weight is just very well distributed. Um, as you guys can see here, this piece has to come up from underneath here. And then I even got the little head thing here, which is not in the right position, obviously, because my head was going to pop out. So I got to adjust it, make this a little higher. But essentially what you want is a geometry like a triangle. So let's say you're facing from the front. If I shoot you with a bullet, and this is made out of titanium, hard titanium, the bullet is going to hit the titanium, not quite penetrate it, so it's going to tumble. It's going to keyhole, and the idea would be it would spin off in the another direction. So there's going to have to be also some plates here so that when the bullets do deflect, they additionally deflect out, and I don't have to deal with the arms getting that full brunt of those hits. But essentially, this is kind of like what I have so far. So it'll be one pole kind of coming up from the top. It'll unify up here. This whole top part will flip up, and the chest has to flip over or maybe even be attached onto here. But as you can see, so far this is what I got. Now, this is the cooling suit. This is what I got for the cooling suit, which is kind of like a thermal top and a thermal bottom. And I plan to put all the little copper and the wires, the tubing around the arms. And there was just no fucking way to do that when it's on my body. Like, in other words, I need it to be on a body so I can gauge the distance and run them the way they're supposed to, know where the joints are. So the easiest way to do this, I looked at mannequins and stuff like that, ridiculous expensive. I just got a blow up doll. It's it's not a sex doll or anything. It's actually a doll that's used for costumes and stuff like that. So it's all black, and it blows up. And the only thing, the proportions are not 100%, which I'm not kind of thrilled about that. But at least I can put this on the mannequin, run all my my tubing on it, and it also, I can mock it up like this. The joints are nowhere near where they're supposed to be, and he's got a flat ass, so it doesn't really sit back the way I want it to. I've tried everything, but again, this is to be able to get an idea what it looks like, tweak a few little things here. I'm almost to the point, because the thing is, I've been using these connectors, the PVC connectors. They pop out, they do all kinds of stupid things, and I think at this point I've proved the concept. In other words, this will work as an exoskeleton. The only thing I need now is to, like I said, when I attach these joints, instead of attaching them like this, what I'm going to do is take the PVC, heat it up, squash it, and then heat this one up, squash it, and then those two thin points will come together, and then I can go ahead and put a bolt in there and then put some solder on it so the bolts don't come off, and the connection should be pretty strong. One of the advantages of that way of unifying joints is that if I got to put a third joint here, which I probably will, or a fourth joint, or a fifth joint, or whatever joints I want, they will all fit nice and snugly because they'll be flat. So it'll just be like stacking flat pieces of metal together, and they go off into the round part. So that's going to be advantageous, and it's going to give a really strong, I think, build. Everything will have its triangular geometry, so this will not be freestanding here. This will have ribs to keep the titanium and stuff. In fact, yeah, here we go. This is steel, and these little plates that are riveted on there are actually titanium. So this was like one of my first attempts at trying to build something, but essentially, as you can see, this is what the hard armor would look like. So once the hard armor goes on there, it'll be at a triangle, and ideally what you want is for the bullets to ricochet. Of course, they're going to ricochet into my arms, which means I need to create some kind of plate to avoid that or reinforce the arms. But yeah, these are 4 plates of titanium on a piece of mild steel, and it's heavy, but this alone should be already bulletproof. Like for 9mm and smaller calibers, it's not going to be rifle proof, but where the fuck is it? Ah, here we go. This is my perforated titanium. So this is titanium, 1mm thick. There's 2 plates here, and what I plan to do to make the armor a little bit stronger is incorporate that in here. So in other words, you'd have this titanium, 2 additional millimeters of the perforated stuff, and if I could just get this stuff to weld, which I don't think, maybe I'll need like a TIG welder or something, but what I'm actually considering is maybe putting like a steel wire in between here and using that. So weld the 2 pieces of titanium or 3 pieces of titanium together using steel almost as a resin, if that makes any sense. Like imagine if this was a fiberglass cloth and I use the solder or the steel as a resin. So I know it sounds really freaking crazy and stuff, but I think it should work. And again, you got a combination of steel and titanium. Titanium cracks, the steel will hold it in place because steel doesn't like to crack, it bends. And the idea would be if you take a plate of titanium, wrap it around with steel, when a bullet hits, it will crack the titanium, but instead of the titanium pieces fragmenting inward, they'll be held by the steel. So it's, I don't know if it'll work or not, but it's what I have for the armor. And as you guys can see, it's, let me see if I can get this guy to move his arm. But you see here, yeah, it falls a little short. The arms are a little shorter than what they should be. The legs are a little shorter. This vest, I toyed with the idea for the padding for the soft armor to just make it out of foam. I have foam here, but I just thought it was so much easier to just get the vest's foam, maybe throw a little bit of hard foam on top of it, and then put the Kevlar and the titanium for the soft armor on top of that. And I think that's going to give me a better build quality, and it's already cut and everything. All I got to do is just put that stuff on there. Same thing with the helmet. This helmet had some hard foam inside. I took it out, and I'll be putting this kind of foam, this soft, in there. And of course, the head will be completely encapsulated. So it'll look more something like this. And it's not going to be square here, obviously. It's going to come at an angle here. Again, that'll come to about here. And then this whole top part will fold upward. I do have some earphones. So then these are ballistic earphones. So what they do is you can hear perfectly until there's a loud sound, and it has a circuit that cuts out the sound so you don't go deaf. So I'll put those on there, but then I have to wire the microphones somewhere around. I still don't know. Again, when you're building an EXO like a Tony Stark Iron Man suit, where do you put the communications? You have to breathe. What's the point of having an EXO if I can just drop like a gas bomb and knock you out? So you have to have breathing, you have to have communications, you have to have the cooling, and all that stuff will hopefully come right back here. Kind of pressed for space. Wish I had a workshop. I'm actually looking right now to see if I can find a storage unit with electricity so I can, because the idea here at this point is I got this chair, which my roommate was throwing out. I took off the back. It's just high enough to put on the running stilts. So I figured that with this kind of of an EXO, you need like a chair or like a place to mount it, and then you get up into that chair. Of course, this will be custom made to whatever this is and to accommodate this. And then the idea would be you get into the EXO, bolt yourself in, and then just stand off the chair. So it'll be like a service thing, I don't know, a bay, I guess, if you want to call it that, for this thing to plug into. And again, I'm kind of so far happy. The only thing I noticed, again, was that this joint, but I can't get this guy's butt all the way back into the chair. So when I put it on, the angle was less steep, which means that it has more of a chance of transferring that energy down. But at the same time, I know that the back is going to be heavy, but I don't know how heavy the back will be towards the front, because as you guys can see, this is a lot of space up here. But with this angle like this, let's say you get shot in the head, bullets should ricochet unless you're hitting straight forward, and in that case, that's where you have the titanium and the Kevlar and all the other stuff to try to catch the bullet, but you shouldn't have as much head trauma. Again, this is more designed like a tank. You want to get hit from the front and have all those bullets be deflected and stuff. There may also be a gap between the titanium and the soft armor, the hard armor and the soft armor. There may be one more layer in between that, because what happens is if you get penetration, then the idea is for that bullet to hit the other layer, and it causes it to tumble so that it keyholes and doesn't go through the second metallic layer. Sorry. So anyways, functional exoskeleton, we're getting there. And this is what I kind of got the idea for the inside. Instead of having a separate mask and then goggles, I think it'd just be easier to have just everything. So I got these, this is a snorkeling, and I got to modify this so it takes the air from the sides and stuff, inlet, outlet, and then also to make sure that your goggles don't get clouded up and stuff. So I need some kind of little fan or something in there. And then, like I said, get the headphones that I have, put them in there, and I got to find a way to wire them so that I can hear on the outside. Because obviously in here, once I'm in here, the only thing that these things will hear is the sound inside here. So I need to wire them outside, plug them in, and then have them work conventionally, but with the actual speakers that listen on the outside. Then you need a PA system. You know, you need a radio so I can communicate with the outside. I need a PA system built into this. It's like 100 things. You know, lighting. You know what I want to use as lighting. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to afford a true night vision, but the IR cameras work fine. So I'd have to also wire IR lights to be able to illuminate to see where the hell I'm going in total darkness. Um, so again, this is like a proof of concept. This is building it Mark 1 style, shitty stuff, and then ideally later on, if I can get somebody to invest and stuff, then we can go to higher quality materials, better designs on the casters and the U joints and everything. But again, so far I'm kind of happy with it. And this is the concept that I was looking at. It's the only thing that makes sense. If you look at tanks, they all have these angles and these long angles. And the idea would be the projectile has to go through more material to hit you. So this would be the same thing. You know, this pole would come up to here, and any shots will be deflected. And of course, it will be strong enough so that if it's a straight shot, it will also be deflected as well. So hopefully I can get the geometry correctly on there so that it works from multiple angles. But anyways, yeah, that's what I got so far. That's Wilson up there. Wilson, say hello. Wilson! Wilson! There's actually a horrible story behind this. But I'm not going to go into that today. Um, so yeah, I think so far it's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. I mean, in my head, it's getting there. You probably see this and say, what the fuck is this fucking jackass doing? I promise you, every single car, airplane, everything on the road started out like this. Like just maybe some scribbles on a paper. Then you try to make the scribbles actual and you run into 100,000 little problems. So again, form will follow function. What works, that's how it looks. So again, this square piece was just to, again, I'm kind of tired of these things. I don't have the one that's the right angle to get it triangular. And of course, this thing obviously pops into the head. So it would be much higher. And again, it would be at a triangular angle. Same thing with the shoulders will be triangular to promote deflections of rounds. And the bottom here hopefully will have another triangle that will kind of extend outward and protect the groin area, because yeah, that's the last place I want to fucking get shot with a rifle round. So again, it's starting to come together, and hopefully I don't have a lot of space. I need to get to work. Yeah, I've come to the point where it's like I rent this room from the gentleman that I rent the room from, and there's just not enough space here. Every once in a while when he goes to work, I'll take my shit downstairs and try to cut and do stuff as quietly as possible because it's a residential area. But at this point, now that I know that this works, I can go ahead and invest the money on the next thing, which would be to get a workplace. And the first thing I'll do there is kind of build, or maybe I'll use this chair for now, but eventually once this starts, the cage is what I want to work on now. So the cage will be the parts that hold me in place. The back will also be triangular in design. So if you get shot from the back also, you get the same deflections and stuff. So essentially it's, as you guys can see, from here, this will go a little higher. So from here to there, and then back here, another triangle. And then all the systems will be held in the backpack, including power generation, which again, I've seen videos of a guy get a generator and a motor, wire them up together, and they just keep producing electricity. I don't know if that really works, but I want to build a small version, and if that works, my idea is to get like those bike hub motors with the gears on them. So the idea would be to get one with the gears, which would be all the different gears for a bicycle, get another one with all the gears for the bicycle, put the gears, the use a bicycle chain to unite the two, have them both on, free rolling bearing system, and then have the chain link the two of them and see if that works. Then I've got power production. I can produce at least 5,000 watts with a system like that, depending on how big the bike hub motors are. But I'm hoping that it works. If not, then I've got a plan B for power generation. But yeah, it would be so cool just to have a power suit that uses that principle. Would be fantastic if it works. So we'll see. I'll try with small, and then if it does work again, maybe get like a 3,000 watt. Another thing is I got to find out how much power this actually produces with the monitors. The tablets will be right here. So as you can see, from here to here, well, this will be at an angle though, but you'll have enough space to put a tablet. So one tablet here, one tablet here, one tablet here. So it will give you a panoramic view, and I can move my head inside, and we'll have, of course, backup cameras and stuff in case one gets taken out, so I don't lose vision, because this is the bread and butter right there. The moment I lift this up, I'm vulnerable. So again, it's what I got so far, and we'll see how the rest of this project works. But I'm to the point right now where I'm going to start squishing these things and see how hard it is to squish these to make the roll cage out of the size PVC that I plan to use. Like, okay, here in the corner, this is galvanized steel electrical conduit, and it is a bitch to cut and a bitch to bend. So I think that with that made out of the whole road cage with triangular design, and then of course put that metal that I just showed you guys, so this would be laminated on top of it. Once the cage is made, these will be attached onto there, either welded on or bolted on, I don't know yet. And again, that's titanium right there. So so it would look something like, let's see if I can get this angle. Yeah, something like this. And of course your head would look something like this. So it's not something that looks very sexy or elegant or anything like that, but it should stop bullets. Ideally, what I want is for the bullets to ricochet and not penetrate or hit something so hard that they have no choice but to keyhole or divert or get out of the way. So anyways, peace.